Off-camera flash. It sounds great, but why? Why do you want to use off-camera flash? Let's figure that out today in the studio. Hello there, my name is Alex Silva. This is the portion where I normally ask you to subscribe to the channel. However, in this case, watch until the end, and if you like the video, of course, subscribe to the channel. Today, I'd like to start a series of videos about off-camera flash. In this series, we're going to cover why you may want to use off-camera flash, different techniques about how you can use off-camera flash, one very specific using specific equipment from Godox, and of course a last video about some next steps that you may take once you understand the basics of off-camera flash. In any case, today I'd like to share with you some of the things I have learned about using off-camera flash and why it could be a good technique for you to learn. If you're new to flash photography, you have probably used the flash as many people start with your flash on the camera. And it's a good way to start. It gives you some understanding of how the flash works and how we can control it, how the camera may communicate with your flash, things like that. It's awesome. However, you may already have found some limitations about the control of the light that you may have when the flash is on your camera. And that's why you may be interested in using off-camera flash. In order for you to understand, I tried to make a bit of an experiment. I'm going to shoot a very simple object, actually not very photogenic, it's just a bit of a toolbox. However, I like this object because it has some texture and it has some reflective objects in it. It can be a bit challenging. As you can see in the photograph, in the behind the scenes photograph, I'm shooting first with the flash on the camera. I pretty much left the flash in TTL mode. I didn't want to mess with settings, but I set the camera to only capture the light from the flash. I made sure that if I didn't have flash, I would have a black frame. Let's take a look at the image, and as you can see, it's pretty much flat. There are some reflections from the reflective pieces, things like that, but it's not a flattering image at all. Why? It's super simple. When the flash is on the camera, the emitter of the light is very close to the lens, and it's actually very well aligned to it. In this case, all the shadows are going to be behind your object. Why am I mentioning the shadows? It's super simple. When we take a photograph, we make a representation of a three-dimensional object. So this representation, it only has two dimensions, width and height. We don't have any depth. And since we can't see any shadows on this object, again, we don't see any of the texture or any of the hollowness of the images or the roundness of some of the pieces. So we don't see any depth or third dimension to it. Anyway, if we move the flash off camera, I'm using a Godox TT685, and I'm making sure that I trigger it with an XPro transmitter on the camera. When we set this with the flash off camera, but more or less at the same height, I only moved the flash to the left, but it's more or less the same height as it used to have when it was on camera, we can now see we can take a look at the image. We now see some texture. We now see some depth to the image. We gained some depth. So that is, I think, the first reason that we may want to add or to use off-camera flash. We now have some depth in the image. Now, if we start moving the light around, let's say, let's place it higher and now pointing down towards the object and making some adjustments to the zoom on the flash, we can now make sure that we light the specific areas or pieces within the box. We're now gaining some creative control. We can also gain creative control by adding more lights, and that is another advantage that you gain when using off-camera flash. You can control more than one flash compared to on-camera flash where you only have one light. And this is, I think, the second reason why you may want to use off-camera flash, in order to get creative control. And there you have it, the two main reasons why you may want to use off-camera flash: gaining depth and, of course, gaining creative control. I really hope you found this video interesting, informative, but also entertaining. If that is the case, please press the like button or the thanks button. You can also subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. But most of all, please remember to stay safe, keep learning, and keep creating. And I'll see you in the next video.